All right, I think we'll get started. My name is Stephanie Keister, and I am very happy to welcome you today to this session on behalf of Virginia Edge Strategies. And we're facilitating this session, and it's a pleasure to meet you all and see you today. I'll turn it over to Sarah to get us started.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Um, we'll go ahead and get started, and we're doing the I2I employability skills webinars throughout the week. The instruction to industry career events or opportunities created annually specifically for high school students in the neighboring school divisions in Northern Virginia. The regional approach provides these students with opportunities to connect with industry professionals from in-demand career fields to prepare for career success. Today, presenting is myself, Sarah Black. I'm from Alexandria City Public Schools, and Mr. Eric Godwin from Manassas City Public Schools, and we are both CTE work-based learning specialists. This week's events are as follows. Yesterday, there was a communications etiquette. Today, we are going to be talking about resume writing, and tomorrow there's an elevator pitch, and Thursday, job interviews. These are all recorded in case you are missing one or you didn't, you would like to review it. So the nice thing is they are being recorded. If you have questions, we would like you just to submit those questions using the Q&A feature. If we have time left at the end of the session, we will try to answer those questions. If for some reason we run out of time, we will put those questions and answers posted in the I2I event page. We do want to make a quick announcement for the career fair and expo. It will be in February 2024. From 1 to 4, it will be in person. That's exciting news for us. And prior to that event, will be also the online I2I event. So please just be looking for announcements through your career counseling center or throughout your division. Mr. Godwin will be presenting next.
All righty. Okay, so I hope everybody can see my screen. So first of all, good morning. This webinar is going to be on Resume Writing 101 today. I'm Eric Godwin, and let's get started. So first of all, what is a resume? Okay, so a resume is going to be the advertisement of selling a product, which is you personally. It's going to highlight specifically your skills, your experiences, and any of your attributes. Yesterday, when we did the communication etiquette, typically writing an email, sending email could be the first meeting between you and an employer, but sometimes you don't get to send that email, and you could be submitting your application and submitting your resume first prior to emailing and making that contact. So this could typically be the first meeting between you and the employer. So you want to make sure this document is very well thought out and placed in a way that it can represent you in the best way possible. So how long do you think an employer looks at a resume? So typically, it's going to be between 10 to 15 seconds. It's going to be really quick. So it's got to be something that's going to catch their eye. Okay. So this time they're going to have the idea to either, hey, I want to proceed with this individual, or I'm just going to pass on to the next one. Sarah?
Yes, and how do you get started? So a couple ways. You can use Microsoft Word or Google Docs. One page long is usually the best because, like Mr. Godwin just said, it's 10 to 15 seconds. They want to see clear and concise information. So consistent formatting style, your fonts and your margins, bold key information, and relevant information. No fluff.
So this is what a sample resume might look like. So as you're looking at this sample resume, so want to pick out some things. What are some things that you notice? So I noticed the name at the top. I noticed objective and education, any kind of work experience, any volunteer experiences, maybe possible skills, or certifications or licenses that you have obtained. If you notice the formatting, it's very clear. It's bulleted. It's very short, concise sentences. The length, it's only one page. Okay. And what are some relevant information that you're looking at a resume? So you can see the length of the time of employment. You can see how long it took them to get their education. And you can see very specifically the experiences in a basically chronological order of the time that they took place. Sarah?
Yes, sections of a resume. So you begin with a header, you have an objective statement, your education, and if you're currently a high school student, you can put in, for example, Alexandria City High School, and you can put present, okay? Just so you know that it's okay if you haven't graduated. You can write in your experience with your responsibilities, and even if you haven't had a work experience, any other experiences. For example, you've taken out the mail for your neighbor while they're gone, or checked on their fish, or walked dogs, or something like that. That is also experience with responsibilities. Activities, volunteer work, committees, clubs, and organizations, those all go under your activities. Achievements and awards, those are all important. Anything that you're receiving throughout high school, list those achievement and awards.
So what does a header specifically look like? So what should be included? You want to put your name, you want to put your permanent and present address. Those two things can be different. So if you have a PO box where you actually go to the post office and check your mail, make sure that's listed as well, because they may send you a letter of an acceptance letter to be able to have an interview. Either way of trying to contact you to reach out about the job. Make sure you have your email address, a phone number. I wouldn't necessarily put your school email address. Make sure you have a personal one. So where should contact information go? It's going to go at the top. So here is a sample of a header. So we got Susie Q student, that's the student's name. Make sure that they have the address on one side, phone number, and very good email to be able to reach out to you and contact you. The objective statement, that's going to be your purpose. So you're going to communicate the type of position that you're interested in. This statement is going to change for every job that you apply to. It's going to be very powerful, going to be impactful. It's going to be what you're seeking in employment. So some examples. So management trainee position with a specialty retailer. I really like the last one. So to obtain a position as a field service representative with XYZ Software Corporation, it's to the point. It's very simple, and it's going to speak to what your whole objective is with that employment. So this is what a sample objective statement would look like onto a resume. And this one, for example, is to obtain an entry-level human resources position. Sarah?
Yes, under education, date or expected date of graduation, as I said before, graduation date, May 2024, expected graduation date, 2025, or you list in order of your completion. You can put in your GPA if you're on the dean's list, etc. are optional. So those are important things to put on there. And here's an example of that. So you can see the education where the student attended, what type of degree they had, and their expected graduation date, and their grade point average.
So why would you put expected graduation date? So an expected graduation date, the importance of that is if you're applying before you graduate, make sure that you say that you haven't done it yet. So letting them know that you are expected to, reach this milestone, and they're going to take that investment opportunity with you with your knowledge and your education. So experience. Make sure that you use that term experience, okay? So what is really considered experience? So any kind of full or part-time jobs that you may obtain that have transferable skills. So say that you may have a part-time job at McDonald's, but your real passion is going to be into marketing. So make sure you list those communication, leadership skills, collaboration, those skills that you got at that part-time job that can transfer over to the job of your dreams or your goal employment. Any kind of self-employment needs to be listed, any kind of practicum, field, or cooperative education experience, any of the high-quality work-based learning experiences that you may be taking part in while you're in high school, such as an internship, a youth registered apprenticeship, externship, or clinical experience, make sure that those are listed. For the information to include with those experiences, make sure you have the job title, the date of employment. And the date of employment could be you started this job in August of 2023 and say that it ended in May of 2024. So like if you did an internship, make sure you list. You don't have to do specific dates like August 5th. You can put August 2023. Make sure that you have the company name and the city and the state. Also, don't forget to list those non-traditional work experiences. So some of you guys are just starting to get into the field of work. Say you're 16, you're looking for your first job. Make sure that you put that you may have done babysitting, or you've done lawn care for your family, or you've helped out with a family business. Each of those items, make sure you put the title, the name, the location, any dates in the description of the responsibilities that you took. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, and listing responsibilities. Use bullet points. Start off each line with an action verb. Present tense is currently employed. Past tense if no longer employed. Vary your choice of verbs. And tailor your skills and experience to the position for which you are applying. Be concise while providing enough detail.
So activities. So any kind of volunteer work that you may have done, any kind of professional organizations that you're a part of, or clubs that you take part in at school. So just some examples are, if you're part of the National FFA organization, FBLA, Skills USA, say you volunteered for March of Dimes or Habitat for Humanity, make sure all those activities are listed. And when you do list them, make sure you spell it out. An employer may not know what FBLA stands for. Make sure you list out Future Business Leaders of America. And this is what experience may possibly look like on a resume. So this person, they were a sales associate, but prior to that, they were a student worker. So make sure you put the most relevant experience first. Okay. So the past experience, student worker, ended in May of 2003, and the newest experience is May 2003 to present. Okay. So you can list present. So if you're currently employed, that's also a plus. Sarah?
Yes, achievements and awards. Don't limit yourself here. This can be a laundry list or a detailed description. Order by date. We've talked about that chronological order. Reverse chronological, most recent to the oldest. Order or importance to the career objective. Don't say member of. Emphasize your leadership roles. Spell out the organization's names. Do not use abbreviations or acronyms. As Mr. Godwin said, oftentimes employers have no idea what that group is, so be clear and spell out those organizations.
So this is possibly what, this person was in honors, so they were on the dean's list, things like that. They list their activities that they were part of, even volunteering at like a soup kitchen. So supplemental sections. This is going to be important. So these are sections that you may include in your resume or may not include in your resume. So skills. So some simple skills, like if you are a good welder or carpentry, but you're not certified in it, but you have those skills, make sure you list them. Or even Microsoft Office, leadership, communication. If you're good at building websites, or if you're bilingual, that's going to be a key skill. Certifications, credentials, licenses, make sure you do that. So a lot of your CTE courses that are offered in your school buildings offer a lot of these certifications. So if you're in a CNA program and you get your CNA license, make sure that's listed, or Adobe, Python, OSHA 10 certification that you guys take in carpentry, auto tech, any of those skilled trade areas, make sure you list OSHA. CompTIA, workplace readiness skills of the Commonwealth, and WISE as well, if you want to list those on your resume. Some resume do's and don'ts. Some things that you do, use action verbs, make sure they're powerful. Make sure you use short, concise sentences. Make sure you list numbers or percentages or amounts. Keep it easy to read. Those short sentences, bullet points. Keep it to about 1 page as well. Some don'ts, don't use pronouns such as I, me, my. Okay? Don't include your references. Put references available upon request. Most of the time when you do an online application, you're going to have to list references in your application, and they'll send an email straight to those references. So you don't need to list them on your resume to make it even longer when it shouldn't be. Don't clutter it with non-essential information. So if you're applying for a marketing job and you may have possibly done some babysitting on the side or whatever, and 5 or 6 years ago, you don't have to list that experience anymore. Make sure you're listing the most relevant experiences that are available to that career. Okay. Don't make any kind of misrepresentations, and don't include personal information. So your height, weight, social security number, a photograph, don't include a photograph on there as well. So make sure that you keep it, it's personal to you and your experiences, but not your personal information, because you never know if they could pass it off to somebody else. So here's the best part about this presentation. So if your teacher will let you, okay, you can scan this QR code and have an availability to a resume template. Please make a copy of this. If you already have a resume, perfect. Okay, so you guys can work on that resume as you wish and as you please. But if you don't have one, here's a good one that I use a lot of the time with my interns to get them used to writing a resume and obtain employment through our internship program here in Manassas Public Schools. So I'm going to leave that up a couple seconds, and then we'll continue on. But you also have a copy of this presentation through the recording after it's over with, and your teacher can go back to the recording and be able to pause this webinar to be able to get you access to this resume template as well. Okay. Sarah?
Yes, applying what you learn. Pick a job you think you are qualified for, then follow the template and practice writing your resume. Practice makes perfect. It's never too early or too late to start a resume because you can use it. And once you have that template, you can update as you go. And say you're a freshman, you can start, and then obviously each year you could just be adding on, and it is easier as you go. You could be a senior and you could get started. And then as you get more experience or other skills that you would like to put on there, you can add those things. So just getting started and using the template that we provided, or if you already have one, that's great too. But really practicing and adding your things as your experiences grow.
Thank you. And always make sure that you understand that this is a fluid document. So this document is constantly going to be changing based off of gaining new experiences, new leadership opportunities, and as you change jobs. So make sure it's tailored to specific jobs. Okay. Any questions? I will stop sharing and I will look to the Q&A. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate it. I wanted to make sure we had plenty of time for questions for anyone that had any that were, because I know some of you guys are probably streaming as a class. So probably getting them to your teacher. All right, I don't see any questions. All right, so student would like to know about best ways to get a job as a 14-year-old. First and foremost, I would definitely consult with getting a work permit. So you're definitely going to have to get a work permit since you're under the age of 16. Okay. And then definitely talk with your parents, talk with your school counselor. I don't know what division that you're in. Maybe talk to your college and career counselor, as well as your work-based learning specialist that's in your division or at your school. Okay. So your first step is going to be getting a work permit. All right. Hello, Fairfax County teacher here. I have been told by people in the industry that the full address is no longer necessary. That's interesting news. So I have not seen that. I have not seen that or heard that. So that's very interesting. So full address is done. Well, I guess because you have email.
Yeah.
And I guess since if you are sending a resume and if you put in an application, the address should be on the application. So I do understand that.
Mhm.
Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Carlos.
I do see that that is a good idea. If the person said to add the address in case there's multiple locations of a business, for example, like a McDonald's, there could be multiple locations to include that address. Um, that's a great idea.
And someone also stated that email address should be professional in nature. So make sure that your email is a professional email, not something inappropriate. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Susan, for that.
And I would add that you would not use your school email just because as you go into the world of work, you want to have like a regular email that you're checking.
Someone also put a student would like to know why some jobs don't take 14 to 15-year-old students. A lot of it has to do with insurance through the business. If the business does not have the insurance to cover that age group, that typically comes into play when it comes to that. We got a couple of thank yous. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yes, thanks for joining. We hope that you can use these tips and for many years.
Any other questions?
Eric, there's a question from Karen.
Oh, I see it now. Can businesses make my 16 to 17-year-olds work late at night? Typically they usually can't, if they're over the age of 16, they can work, but as long as they can't work full time. So typically it's up to it's a just a discussion between the student and the place of employment to work on hours.
And I would say a lot of companies, as a general statement, 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds should not be working past 10 o'clock at night on a school
Correct.
night. There are
Correct.
some legal requirements on that, but it's school night versus weekends. There can be a little bit
Yeah.
of play and wiggle room there. So, and once they're 18, they are able to work full time at any point in the day or night.
Correct. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
Is there a limit on how many hours 16-year-olds can work a week? I think it's as long as it's under 38 and a half, but they can't work over 8 hours during a school day and they cannot miss they cannot miss school to work.
Right. These are great questions. Thank you so much.
Very good questions. It's hard to keep up with because you got to keep scrolling down.
I'm
Sorry, guys.
That's why I'm looking, making sure we're getting everything.
Yep. All right. Any more questions? All right. So employees under the age of 16 can't work more than 3 hours a day on a school day, 18 hours a week in a school week, 8 hours a day on a non-school day, or 40 hours a week in a non-school week. That's the answer for the how many hours 16-year-olds can work a week. Thank you, Matt. And that is from the Virginia labor laws. All right, any more questions? All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed and got a lot of information out of this session. And hope you guys take a lot of it back and make sure that you practice writing your resume. We really appreciate it.
And don't forget, tomorrow is elevator pitches, and then we still have job interviewing on Thursday, which are also going to be great sessions. So make sure if you can turn zoom in, and otherwise make sure you check out the website for all of the videos so that you can watch them at your leisure.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.